Welcome back to the Explainer. Let's just dive right in and pick up exactly where we left off, the fused ectoscreen. Now, this is the system that literally revolutionized maritime navigation. I mean, it replaced 500 years of traditional paper charts. But relying on this digital heartbeat comes with some incredibly strict legal and operational limits that we absolutely need to wrap our heads around. Now, here's a little detail that catches out a surprising number of new officers. Picture this. You're standing on the bridge, looking at a glowing screen that shows your ship moving across a map. Looks great, right? But here is the million-dollar question for you. If you are looking at a digital chart, does that automatically mean it's legally compliant for primary navigation? Well, the short answer is a flat no. IMO and SOLAS regulations are super strict about this. They absolutely require official electronic navigational charts, or ENCs, for a system to be fully compliant. If you're just looking at a generic scanned paper chart, what we call a raster navigational chart, or RNC, that is a completely different, non-compliant category. You can't just snap a high-res photo of an old paper chart, load it up on a screen, and claim you're legally good to go. The data has to be a smart, vector-based ENC. So what does true, modern compliance actually look like out on the water? Take a look at a system like the Gamia X1. It doesn't just passively display those official ENCs, it actively integrates real-time data from your GPS, your gyrocompass, AIS targets, and your radar. It literally pulls all of those independent sensor feeds into one single, unified, totally legal interface. And the result of all that? You get incredibly powerful automated route planning and a dynamic view that drastically cuts down the margin for human error. But, and this is a massive but, we have to be so careful here, because this is exactly where human error likes to creep in. You see, an ECDIS is really only as good as the data and the settings you feed into it. If an officer gets annoyed by constant beeping and sets the safety dials or alarm margins way too wide, or if the system is running on outdated maps that haven't been updated with the latest notices to mariners, well, it silently creates this incredibly dangerous false sense of security. The machine might have been telling you everything is totally fine, right up until the exact second your hull scrapes a newly formed shoal. To really wrap your head around what this system does when it's used correctly, think of an ECDIS, kind of like a car GPS that has live hazard alerts, but just on absolute steroids. It isn't just a passive map. It is an active, calculating co-pilot that has literally memorized every single chart in the world. As a real example, if there happens to be a charted wreck sitting just 200 meters off your planned route, the ECDIS is going to automatically flag that danger for you right during the route planning phase. It taps you on the shoulder and warns you way before your ship is anywhere near the actual hazard. Okay, let's test this out with a quick, real-world scenario. Let's say you walk onto the bridge, and your ECDS screen is clearly displaying a scanned raster paper chart instead of an ENC. Based on everything we've just uncovered, are you currently SOLAS compliant as your primary means of navigation? The definitive answer is a hard no. You are entirely non-compliant. A scanned chart is basically just a flat picture. It cannot trigger depth alarms, and it can't interact with your ship's safety settings because it's completely missing those underlying intelligent data layers. It completely fails the strict SOLAS requirement. So now you know the vital legal distinction to drop on anyone who might ask. All right, to summarize what we've unpacked in this explainer today, we've broken down exactly how the ECDIS acts as the ultimate digital hub, seamlessly fusing your GNSS, gyro, radar, and AIS data into one cohesive operational picture. We've established the absolute legal necessity of using official ENCs instead of scanned raster charts, and most importantly, we've highlighted why human oversight, especially when it comes to those alarm settings, ultimately dictates your real physical safety on the water. It's an absolutely brilliant system, provided you actually know its rules and its limits. Which brings us to a final, really critical thought to leave you with. ECDIS is an amazing map and a fantastic safety net. But imagine you are trying to dock a massive 300-meter beast of a vessel in a heavy crosswind, and you have exactly 30 seconds to decide your next move. A map is not going to save you in that moment. You need to know exactly what your engine RPM, your rudder angle, and your thrusters are physically doing at a single panicked glance. How in the world does one screen keep thousands of tons of steel from crashing straight into a concrete pier? Well, that mechanical dashboard is known as the conning display, and figuring out how that works is exactly what we're going to be tearing into next time. See you then!